Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone, and happy Friday. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam, Ronis with you right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, getting you ready for the divisional round of the playoffs. 2 games tomorrow, 2 games on Sunday. A lasagna being made tonight. How you doing, Adam? How's it going?
I'm doing all right. It looks like you're going to have to increase that portion of lasagna.
Do we have to talk about that? I guess we do because we're a sports radio show that focuses on the NFL, but whatever. Yeah, a little extra love going in there today.
How many trays are you going to make? 4?
Well, I have a big lasagna pot thing that I stick in from Lake Crusade that I stick in the oven. So however much that makes, however much that yields, that's how much we get.
And is it going to be finished? Like you have enough people to help you consume it?
No.
Oh. So what are you going to do with the leftovers?
I'm going to send you some.
Okay. Well, you didn't last time, so I don't really trust you at this point.
Well, I'm not overnighting it, that's for sure. So I might get there by Thursday.
Okay.
If we're talking
if I get
days,
sick, at least if I get it on a Thursday, I only miss one show if I get sick.
Exactly. There you go. That's why I'm going to line it up there. Yeah, it needs a little extra love. I already got some messages this morning about lasagna, by the way. So don't worry. I've got some extra tips and tricks to get it done. Who messaged me this morning? Oh, it was Pete. Pete was telling me that he has an Italian family and it's always a staple. So he was telling me how he makes his lasagna. So there you go. And you did it last week for me. So we've got all the bases covered.
Well,
I need to look what
mislead people. I didn't make it.
No, people know. People know
okay.
that. People
Just
know you didn't make it.
Don't
worry. The same guy that said he loves broccoli and someone asked how you like your broccoli, what's your favorite way to cook it? You said, I don't know.
I don't cook it. I just eat it. Whoever makes it for me, and it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little extra love in the lasagna because Sam Darnold, for whatever reason yesterday, decided to, have a little oblique injury. He's going to be fine. He's going to play, but not necessarily a fun thing to look at in a meeting. And I see Sam Darnold hurts oblique again. He's expected to play. He came out and said that, quote, he just didn't want to push it. Wasn't the day to push the oblique injury. So that was it. Came inside, got some rehab. Feel like I'm going to be ready to go on Saturday. So again, he should be fine. That's what I keep telling myself, Adam, because then I saw Ian Hartitz getting ready to tweet Drew Lock, stats and videos, and I could not handle that. I was like, I messaged him. I said, please don't tweet about Drew Lock right now. I can't do this.
Well, this is very smart by Sam Darnold because it gives him a built-in excuse when he starts to struggle. So if he throws that first interception or second, he could start grabbing his oblique and get pulled. So it's very smart. He has a great game and says, I'm a hero. I played through an oblique injury. Or he says, yeah, those interceptions that I threw, it was my oblique. So
whatever.
You'll be fine.
He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
That's
what I've been telling myself for the last 24 hours. No, he's definitely going to play. Again, I think it was more of a cautionary thing. Drew Lock is Sam Darnold's backup if we do have to go that far. Jalen Milroe, also their rookie 3rd-round pick, is their QB 3. So again, I mean, Darnold's never dealt with an oblique injury. Look that back up. ESPN tweeted that out as well. So he said he's gonna be good to go, and I believe he's gonna be good to go. Just a little bit of drama. That's what we have to have before the playoffs start. A little bit of drama.
Yeah, it can never go smoothly. There's always something along the way, but it doesn't appear to be anything serious, and Darnold should be ready to go tomorrow.
I know, tomorrow night. You need Sam Darnold for our Fantasy Life playoff draft as well that we did with Brendan and Ani.
I do? I took him? I forgot. Let me see. Do we have a list? The link disappeared. I feel like my draft's been tampered with.
Sent us a list. We did the whole thing together. You weren't looking at that? No, you've got Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker.
Okay. Oh, I do need to see it. Well, I'm pretty much done, right? I don't think I can do
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty much done. Unless Josh Allen gets things done on Sunday. Or no, that says the first game on Saturday. Because George Kittle, for me, I drafted George Kittle, which was a good pick, but now he's hurt, so we can't go back. So you need Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker.
Okay. Well, I mean, I told you I'm rooting for Seattle anyway. I don't like San Francisco at all.
I know you don't. I'm just saying you need to root for Sam Darnold a little bit harder this weekend.
I will, I forgot that I had on that team.
It's because you waited too long for a quarterback.
Well, no, I have Drake May also.
Oh, but it was a super flex. Like you waited a little bit of a long time.
Well, you're picking 4 if you don't take back to
here
back.
We go. I'm picking 4 because Brendan picked 4th last year and he won. So what's your excuse?
That I had a few players go out in round 1. That's why.
Got it. We are going to be breaking down all these games here today. Every single one. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive, see, what could the possibilities be, what our predictions are as well, and continuing to go through just some of the news that what we've seen over the past 24 hours. Sam Darnold, again, he does have an oblique injury. They listed him as questionable. Looks like he's going to be good to go. He said he's good to go. Fred Warner is not going to return for the playoffs. I know some people might have been waiting on that because they did open up his practice and everything, and he was out there, but he does not look like he's going to be able to go. If they do make it past the Seahawks, though, then there's a chance that maybe they get him back, but we're still waiting on Ricky Pearsall. They listed him as questionable, so there's maybe a little bit of a chance that he's able to come back, which, again, Adam, I know people might be listening and saying, Ricky Pearsall, why would we care? But this team needs all the help that they can get because they've been so banged up all season. So anyone that's able to come back from their injury is going to be good for them and good for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall definitely would help. I know it's been in a season plagued with injuries for him. He did face Seattle back in week 1 and had 4 catches for 108 yards on 7 targets. And before he went down with this injury again, he had 2 good games, 6 for 96 and 5 for 85. So he does give them at least that element of teams have to worry about him getting deep. So it would be massive to get him back, especially with no George Kittle. So, the 49ers do need a lot. I did see, though, that the 49ers are being bet heavily.
But I never liked 7 seemed like too much for me. And I'm a Seahawks fan. I did not like that line, to be totally honest with you. I thought it was too much based on how well these teams know each other, how low scoring it was last time. Just 7, I don't know, 7 felt a little bit too much for me. That's what made me a little bit more nervous.
I mean, the Seahawks have won 4 of their last 6 games by more than 7.
I know. It's just me being paranoid, I guess. I would understand why money would be coming in on the 49ers for this one, to be honest. But Brock Purdy's, I believe I saw the stat 4-0 at Lumen Field.
Yeah, look, he's played well, but yeah, this is a tough matchup for them, though.
It is an uphill battle. That George Kittle, how much differently would we be talking about this game if George Kittle didn't get hurt? I think it would be closer. I think it would still be an uphill battle, but he does so much. Like, it's not only with George Kittle, of course, his the connection he has with Brock Purdy, everything else there through the air is good, but the blocking that he does and everything he does when you're not seeing him featured was huge for this team. So it's just a really bad break for them to not have Kittle for this playoff push.
Yeah, I mean, we know again, the blocking, even though they haven't been able to run that well this year. I mean, if you look at McCaffrey's efficiency, but you do see the splits, it's way better with Kittle. So that aspect certainly is a problem. And what Kittle can do after the catch and these big plays. So, yeah, I mean, his absence is clearly not good for San Francisco.
Yeah, so looks like, again, maybe San Francisco is going to get Ricky Pearsall back. Potentially, he's listed as questionable, so that's going to be one that comes closer. It looks like closer to game time, or we should know before that happens. But he's been practicing in a limited capacity all week, and he was unable to practice all last week. So I think that's really good news when you're looking at that. This is Fantasy Life right here, breaking down everything you need to know for the divisional round of the playoffs. And Adam, before we start getting into these previews, did just want to finish off our talk on all the injuries that people might see. Sam Darnold with the oblique says he's confident he will play. Ricky Pearsall questionable for the 49ers going up against the Seahawks. So we'll see if he's good to go. They're not going to get Fred Warner back. That's going to be one that they might have to wait another week if they do make it past the Seahawks. Maybe we can see him then. Hunter Henry did practice in full on Thursday. Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots also practiced in full on Thursday as well. But they did not get good news on Nico Collins. He was not out there, Adam. So, again, we said this when he went down with that concussion, that it would be a really tough road for him to be able to get back so quickly to play in the divisional round. But with him not suiting up on Thursday for practice, I think it's safe to assume that he's not going to be out there this weekend, like we pretty much thought was going to happen.
Yeah, I knew it immediately. This is a guy that had a concussion in week 7 on a Monday night against Seattle, didn't play the following week, and then returned. So with such a short period and the way it looked, too, with him grabbing his head immediately, having to be carted to the locker room, you knew that it was unlikely that he would play. But Christian Kirk did step up in his absence last week.
He did.
8 for 144 and a touchdown. He had 239 yards on the season. So
that's crazy. If you would have told me it would have been Kirk stepping up, I would have said, no, I don't believe you. I think it'd be Higgins or even Noel. I just would have never thought that he would have done it.
They just have not really gone to Noel at all this year.
No,
they have not had faith in him. Even Higgins, it took some time. You would think, though, Higgins on the outside could see a lot of Gonzalez. So Kirk's prop it varies depending on where you go. It's anywhere from 38.5 to 41.5, depending on the book. So that's why you got to shop around.
Anytime touchdown? Come on, let's lock it in. Let's do like a crazy anytime touchdown parlay for this weekend.
His odds are plus 250 on MGM, plus 260 on DraftKings and FanDuel.
Who says no? Adam says
no.
Who says no? Adam. Adam says no. He doesn't like fun. Come on, that would be fun. Like losing money is fun.
Yeah, I don't like losing money.
Like my impression of you? I thought that was good. You don't think the Texans are going to score in this game?
They're not going to score much, I can tell you that.
All right, fair enough. I'll put together the anytime touchdown parlay, and I know Ani will lock in with me as well. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Nico Collins. Again, we haven't gotten that no official word yet, but when he wasn't practicing on Thursday, I think we could all just assume that he's not going to be good to go. So this team's gonna need a lot of guys to step up if they can, and hopefully they will. Again, Texans are on the road for this one, facing the Patriots, and we're going to be breaking down that game here in a little bit. The final ones, just to go through more of that news, Josh Allen's not on the injury report. Dalton Kincaid is not on the injury report as well. So those were, I feel like, the ones that we were looking at the most, but a lot of it was with the 49ers. So again, Nico Collins not out there. So a little bit disappointing with Nico Collins and the Texans, but we will see who steps up for that team. Speaking of Josh Allen, though, let's start with the Bills Broncos, right? First game on Saturday. Might as well. This should be a fun one. Divisional round. It kicks off between both of those guys. Number 6, number 1 seeds respectively. 14-win season, Adam, for the Denver Broncos, and they are hosting their first playoff game this season. And it is going to be, I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think Mile High in general with those Broncos fans, Broncos country is hungry for some wins in the postseason. And so you know that Mile High is a tough place to play at. You know that the environment's going to be tough. And then you also know, Adam, that the Denver Broncos defense is nothing to mess with. Patrick Surtain, everyone else back there, they've been elite all season. And so when you look at the Denver Broncos, because we know this defense is going to keep them in some games, in this game specifically, what are you looking at with the Broncos offense in this one?
Yeah, can Bo Nix play well? Can he make some plays? We've seen it's been inconsistent for him, and the Broncos have to learn from some other teams recently to just run the football and stick with it against the Bills' run defense, because I just don't understand why Jacksonville went away from it last week. They were doing extremely well on the ground, picking up big yards, whether it was ETN or Bashal Tutin, and they just didn't do it enough. So I think they're going to have to provide a heavy dose of RJ Harvey and even Nix. I think Nix will run a little bit too.
Yeah.
And because Nix kind of struggles too when his first read is not open. That's when you kind of see some of the mistakes. So I think you have to watch him running as well. They really struggle against rushing quarterbacks as well. So I think that's what you have to see. If Nix cannot make the mistake, if he sees the first and second reads are covered, he's got to take off and run. He has that ability, and it's a way to beat the Bills defense. So I think you need to see those things happen offensively for the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills, we know the Bills' weakness, and one of it is that run defense. And so it just feels. I was talking about this with Gene Clemens yesterday, though, because Sean Payton sometimes at him, and it's not to like this is no slight or anything, but sometimes he tries to be the smartest guy in the room. It feels like, and he makes these decisions that you look around and you're like, why are you doing? You don't need to go this way. You can just do X, Y, Z or whatever. And so sometimes some of the decisions that he makes is just it makes you shake your head and you say there's no reason to make this difficult. And so that's the only thing I'm concerned about, where it feels like a recipe for success, right? You've got this great defense, and RJ Harvey, when you look at the Bills' weakness, which is their run defense, they rank 31st in EPA per allowed per designed run. And so it's a question of if the Broncos can capitalize. I think they can. I think that people believe in RJ Harvey, and they should too. But Denver has in the past made some decisions where we just say, why? Don't make it this difficult. Just go on the ground and beat them. So I'm really excited to see what RJ Harvey can do. I've seen bold predictions saying that RJ Harvey will have his first 100-yard game as the team decides to prioritize the run. So this would be the perfect time for that to happen. Let's just say that.
Oh, I would like that. I spent a good amount of
Nice.
money on him in Guillotini.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
so I could use that. But yeah, like Harvey, I think he's been a little bit of a disappointment
his
from
career high is 75 yards. So
yeah, and he's only averaging 3.7 yards per carry. I thought we'd see more explosive runs for him. He has one run of 40 yards or more this year and only two over 30. So this is a spot where it could happen, and they just need to feed him the football. Like you said, Peyton can get cute, so let's not hope like the third string fullback is getting carries
could
here.
you imagine? Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
fun?
No,
Not
it
really.
wouldn't be if you have
No.
any Broncos players. But yeah, they need to feed Harvey. They got to get the running game going and put the pressure on the Bills to make some adjustments.
Yeah. I mean, the Broncos lean pass heavy already. So if they're going to do this, and they've had weeks to prepare, right? They've gotten their rest. They should be totally healthy going into this, but they have the fifth highest pass rate over expected per NFL Next Gen stats. So Harvey getting his first 100-yard game would help a lot. And just it's almost like we talked about it with Sam Darnold, like any quarterback really. When you have a solid run game, it does alleviate pressure from the quarterback because you can rely on that a lot more. And so if they are doing well on the ground, it doesn't leave Bo Nix up to be a hero. And I don't know if he's going to have to be a hero in this one, but it would just make his life obviously a lot easier if those things were able to go their way. On the other side, so what are we doing with the Bills? Are you trusting any of these Bills? Did you bid on any Bills receivers for a Guillotini, or are you just trying to go any other way?
If I did, they were at the bottom. Like I told
Yeah.
you, I put in about 25 bids because I want to make sure I get a starter somewhere. I was surprised that some people didn't put in a lot of bids, but yeah, I don't think I wound up getting any Bills receiver. They clearly were at the bottom. Obviously, it's a tough matchup here, and they're very thin. I mean, they're basically down to three healthy wide receivers at this point.
Yep.
Uh, so you've got Surtain there. I don't really think there's anyone for him to shadow at this point. But I mean, you're relying on Brandon Cooks and Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, who they basically had inactive many weeks. So yeah, it's a tough spot. They're going to need their tight ends to really step up here. Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Kincaid is really good against man, so they really need him to play a big role. It's going to be the tight ends and the running backs. Ty Johnson, I guess, could come back. I think I did see him put in some practice yesterday. So they need him back, too. I mean, he could play a large role in this game, but it's really tough here with this receiving core. They'll need another big game from Shakir as well. You would have to think that they're going to try and run the football. I know this is another difficult matchup we saw last week. James Cook had that difficult matchup and did not come through with a big game. So, they're going to try and run it. But if they are unsuccessful, similar to last week, they need to find a way to get Cook in the passing game. They just don't do that enough. He has that skill set. He's excellent catching the ball in the backfield. They need to stick to it because, again, it's going to be tough for the receivers to have success in this game.
I think that, I mean, if we're looking at players that could make any lineup that you're creating this weekend just a little bit different, I don't know if it's saying that the Bills tight ends are necessarily a crazy pick, but I think that's the way they have to go in order to win this game, because you said it. From weeks 11 to 17, the Broncos had a defensive drop off. Like they were still very good, but it wasn't necessarily elite, right? They were disruptive. They were doing everything right when you look at all the stats, but they dropped to 10th in success rate, 23rd in EPA per dropback, 21st in points per drive. So they struggled a lot too in that span 11 to 17 with mobile quarterbacks, because they faced Lawrence. I am putting him in that basket, that category. Jordan Love, Marcus Mariota. But one of the things with Josh Allen, we know that he can obviously create a ton of off script plays, right? He can tuck it. He can do whatever he wants if he doesn't see what he likes. But the Broncos defense specializes in taking away those outside receivers, like you said, with Patrick Surtain. So you know that the Bills don't have that, though. The Bills have never relied this year on receivers to play like that. So when you look at this and you look at some of the stats from the Broncos, they are not the best at covering tight ends. They've given up the 9th most yards to tight ends this season, the 8th highest average yards per receptions to tight ends as well. So it feels like Kincaid could be a good play if you are creating, whatever your lineups this weekend. If you're going into guillotines, it could be a good matchup that you want to exploit.
Yeah, we've seen some tight ends put in big games this year. Zach Ertz had 106, Kelsey had 91, Schultz had 77. So, I mean, that's going to happen when you have your corners taking out the receivers. It opens things up for the tight ends. Whether you look at it as a weakness or not, it just shows, hey, if we're not going to attack these corners, then we have to go somewhere, and it's the tight ends. And that's where Dalton Kincaid is massive here. He's got to come through with a big game for the Bills to win. Or it's similar to what we saw last week, where it's like, well, this is on the shoulders of Josh Allen, and he's got to be great.
It probably is.
And he's got to carry the team, and he's going to have to run as well. So, yeah, we're asking a lot from Josh Allen again.
I think, but they've had to do that all season, right? It hasn't been a team with a laundry list of excellent players that they just say we can use anyone and everyone on this team, and that's how we win. I think Josh Allen has always had to be a superhero this season, and it will be disappointing if they can't get it done, because this does feel like one of their best chances to just go all the way, right? They already slayed one dragon, and Jacksonville was a team that a lot of people picked to go very far in the playoffs. And so they got it done then. The Denver Broncos are tough. Again, the Broncos are at home in this one. Their defense has just been incredible all season, but it will probably end up being Josh Allen putting on the cape, the superhero cape, and just putting this team on his back, like we've seen time and time again, to get them to win. Because I just think that no matter how much we talk about, what James Cook could do, what Dalton Kincaid can do, it's probably up to what Josh Allen is going to look like in this game. And that's like easy analysis to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's going to have to do a lot more in this game, because I don't know how much help he's going to get from his receivers in this game. So
wouldn't it be great for a Keon Coleman, like a Keon Coleman breakout game? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't this be the time? Come on, Keon Coleman. We're rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
I mean, he did have one catch last week for 36 yards. So
there we go. Let's make it 2. No? Okay.
Yeah, well, look. He started the season very well, 8 catches for 112 yards. I don't know if he even had 112 yards combined the rest of the way.
Oof. It was bad. How many games did he?
He was bad.
How many games did he get scratched from? 3, 4?
Felt like at least 4.
A lot of the time.
No, yeah, he missed quite a few games. He was a healthy scratch. The team penalty. He played 13 games, so he missed a few. Missed 4.
It was bad. I will say the last thing with this game is I know that a lot of people are going to look to the playoff matchup between these two teams last year, right? And it's very different, right? We can look back and we can reminisce, but it's just not going to be the same game plan, because in that playoff matchup with the Broncos last season, the Bills, they ran for 210 yards on a defense. They ranked at that time first in success rate that year. And they took advantage of the Broncos linebackers as well. They were targeting running backs. They were targeting tight ends. They had 7 catches for 101 yards. So again, I do think that Dalton Kincaid is going to have to be in this mix to some extent and be someone that really steps up for this team, because they're just injured like they have been all season. They don't have a true alpha wide receiver 1. I've got Khalil Shakir in one of my guillotines that I just picked up, and I am not loving it, to be totally honest. They're just going to have to do, they're just going to have to do whatever they can, but it's just probably going to be short dump off passes kind of thing. I don't think we're going to be seeing them push it down the field because we haven't seen that all year.
Yeah, I think this is a tough spot here. I know he's coming off a big game, but I don't see huge numbers from him in this one.
No. Okay. Who do you see big numbers from? If you were crafting a team this weekend, we already mentioned Dalton, Kincaid. Would it be, if we were picking two players from both of these teams, would it be Kincaid and RJ Harvey as the X factors that if they're going to win this game, it's probably going to be relied on. They are probably going to be relied on heavily.
I don't see a lot of big performances in this game. I think it could be a struggle. So I think you would have to look at Kincaid. I mean, you're always worried too about him getting hurt during the game. He has not been 100%, but you're not going to throw at Surtain here, right? So again, Kincaid matches up well against man defenses, which Denver mostly plays. So it would have to be him. And then, yeah, on the Denver side, it would be Harvey. I mean, you have to hope that they're smart and realize, okay, the Bills are vulnerable against the rush. I mean, 137.2 rushing yards per game this year, and you got to just pound Harvey in this one. I don't know what they were doing last week in Jacksonville to go away from the run when they were just picking up huge chunks. So you have to hope that they were watching that and said, you know what, we just need to take advantage of the Bills' inefficiency defending the run and just keep going at them, because if they go and have Nicks drop back to pass a lot, that's going to be a problem, because at some point there could be a mistake, there could be a turnover. So they need to roll with Harvey in this one.
Just like we saw in Jacksonville, there at the very last play that sealed it for him. So I agree. Isn't it going to be funny though when we come in on Monday and start talking about Julian McLaughlin? Won't that make you laugh?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either, because sometimes they just make these decisions sometimes over there in Denver. You say, why are we doing this? But hey, if it leads them to a win, they're not going to be complaining come victory. Well, I guess it would be victory Sunday, but we'll see. This is going to be a fun game. Who are you going with? Actually, I haven't even asked you. I actually don't even know. You going with Buffalo?
I am. Yeah, I'm leaning Buffalo right now.
I am too, and I'm scared about it.
Yeah,
but the line was moved back to Denver, right? Denver's the favorite in this one.
It was Buffalo opened as the favorite, and then now Denver is a short favorite, depending on where you look. 1.5. So Broncos at home this year are 8-1, and we know that it's a tough place to win. But I think if you're picking Buffalo, you're basically saying that Josh Allen is going to do enough to carry this team. Again, and the total is 45.5. That seems high to me.
Oh, you like the under maybe?
I'm not betting the under, but if I was taking it, I would lean towards the under.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit high. But again, and like you said, this is a tough place to play. The Denver Broncos have been phenomenal at home, except when they play Jacksonville. And they've got a lot of rest, and they've had a lot of time to think about this game. So it'll be a fun one. I'm also taking Buffalo because if I want to win our Fantasy Life playoff draft with producer Ani and Brendan, I need Josh Allen and James Cook to do. Oh, and I have Nico. Oh, I'm done. I'm toast. I've lost Nico Collins and George Kittle.
Well, that means you must have someone else on your team that's getting hurt this week. So
great, thanks. I appreciate that.
Oh no, I was gonna say I have Sam Darnold. You said right?
Yes, but don't. Okay. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we need the Seahawks to win. I'm definitely rooting for the Seahawks. Yeah, I'm on your side. So. You think I'm not?
I know. I never said that. I know you're on my side. It's just sometimes it's hostile in here, and you're just like, Sam Darnold, should he get hurt? I'm like, no. Sam Darnold's going to be fine. So I need Josh Allen and James Cook to go to the Super Bowl.
I don't know why you're worried. I mean, Sam Darnold has always been clutch. Look how many games he's won the last 2 years.
Stop it. How dare you?
He has, though. It's a fact.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't lose.
In the playoffs. In the playoffs?
That's a different story.
When it matters most? When the lights are brightest? We're going to be talking about that game here, but I first want to preview the Rams Bears and see our expectations for this. Maybe some players, if you're in those drafts, if you're creating some DFS lineups, guys that you want to target from this game. We're going to break it down here coming up next. Just like the Dodgers are favored to win the World Series for the next 10 years, I don't know, 5 maybe. The Rams are favored in this one, going on the road to face Chicago. Sorry, I had to throw that in there today. You know, I
Really?
had to.
Of all days?
What?
Like, come on.
Well,
The
of
Dodgers are
course.
actually they're plus 220 to win the World Series. The
There's
next is plus 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You look at the roster, it makes sense. I'm sorry you
Well,
lost the
look,
war.
reportedly the Mets offered 220 million for Kyle Tucker, and if they had done that deal, people would have been like, "Oh, you overpaid. It's too much." And then the Dodgers do it, and it's like, well, they just added another great player to the team. So yeah, it's tough. I don't
I'm
know what
sorry.
else you could do at this point, as the
Something.
Dodgers just scoop up everyone.
Yeah, you just gotta be jealous. I'm
What you got
jealous.
now? What you got to hope is, look, Betts is older. He declined last year. Whether it was that illness at the
Get
beginning of
out
the
of
year that led to
here.
his season, Freeman's a year older. So that's what you have to hope for. And we know their pitchers are all going to be hurt at some point. They just
And
happen to
then
be
come back for the
all
playoffs
healthy in the
though. Yeah,
postseason. So
exactly.
uh,
So yeah, just like the Dodgers are favored entering their season, the Rams are favored entering the weekend. You see that transition was great. So again, Rams traveling to the Bears, gonna be cold. We've talked about this weather before, Adam, that we're not necessarily worried about it. I think on the Ram side, if we are talking weather and it being cold, it's really just how it affects Matthew Stafford's finger that is on his throwing hand. So he said he's good to go for the weekend. There's really no questions about it. So I want to start with the Bears. So I'll put it this way. If we see a Bears upset and the Bears beat the Rams, if we are talking about that on Monday, what are the keys? How do they upset the Rams?
turnovers, force Stafford into turnovers. That's the times that we've seen the Rams lose this year. So we know that they're going to move the football and they're going to put up points. So get some turnovers, like a pick six, a fumble recovery for a touchdown would be massive. But yeah, just get a turnover and create a shorter field. Specifically in the second half, because the Bears don't know how to play offense in the first half. So if that
True.
occurs in the second half, the Bears are more than likely going to take advantage, especially in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. We've seen it in the games that they struggle or they lose, like that Carolina game in the regular season. It was turnovers, right?
Mhm.
And then Carolina took advantage too. Bryce Young had 3 touchdowns in that game. So I think that's really the key for them is getting some turnovers because it's really tough to slow down this Rams offense. I know they're talking about really cold weather, but uh, Rams played well last year in the snow in Philly. Could have won that game. Came close
Yeah,
to winning it. Came down
definitely.
to the end. So
That's why the
I'm
cold
really
weather thing, I don't like. Don't look too much into the cold weather thing. We saw that last year, and they looked great.
yeah. So I'm not really worried
Besides the
about that.
Kyron Williams fumble at the end, that was tough.
Yeah. So
Um,
it comes down to creating some turnovers.
Yeah, and like you said, the Bears offense and Caleb Williams, honestly, Caleb Williams and the Bears offense struggled until he really turned on the deep ball passing. That was around the second half. And so we haven't seen it. Well, we have seen full games put together before, but last week it wasn't there. And so the first couple of quarters, you were just sitting back saying, well, this is how it's going to go. And then they end up, doing Caleb Williams and Chicago Bears things, and they win their seventh game after trailing with 2 minutes left. And that they became the fourth team in NFL history to overcome a deficit of at least 15 points in the fourth quarter in that game. I mean, how they're able to continue to do this, we don't know, but we know it's in them. And so you almost never count them out. We've been making the joke all week, Adam, that if they go down to the Rams and we look at halftime, are you not going to be looking at the odds and
Oh yeah, I'll be looking
seeing
at the
what it
live
looks
line.
like? I
But
mean,
I
because
also I
yeah.
also understand that at some point it's going to stop. I think though, if the Rams jump out to that early lead, you put some pressure on Chicago because we saw last week. Like people forget because the Bears won. Ben Johnson went for it on 4th and 5 at his own 32 with 5:19 left in the first
Mhm.
half. Right, so that kind of said to us, oh, they're desperate. I mean, it was 14-3 at the time. So put them in another spot like that and make them make that tough decision and it could backfire this time. I mean, again, we're all going to sit there, like you said, if it is like 21-6 at the half, be like, okay, Bears got them right where they want them. They've been in this spot
Exactly.
before, but at some point, it's not going to happen. And I don't think the Bears want to be in that spot again.
Yeah, I think the one scary thing about the Bears that will be in the back of the mind of all the Rams players is that they can never be ruled out. And really, they've been winning these almost improbable victories without playing their best. And so I think that's what makes Chicago a threat in this game. I don't have them winning. I'm going to be honest. I'm taking the Rams, but would I be shocked if they were able to get this thing done on Monday when we were talking about it? Not necessarily. They're threatening because they're not playing their best with their best version of themselves. And so if they really put it together and they spent this week practicing and really getting everything done and they do put four good quarters together, I think that's going to make all the difference. It's a big if because we haven't seen it all the time and we definitely didn't see it last week. But if they're able to do that and like you said, win the turnover battle and really get to Matthew Stafford in this game that is expected to be cold, it'll make all the difference. What do you expect from the Rams running backs? Kyren Williams, Blake Corum, are those guys that you're going to in any kind of guillotine format this weekend or any kind of DFS format?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially Kyren
Yep.
Williams. I mean, he's been their main back. They do mix in Corum, but I expected a little bit better of a game from Kyren Williams last week, and did not happen. 13 for 57, didn't score. But yeah, I think you could run here on the Bears, and uh, definitely could look at Kyren Williams for sure in this matchup.
I feel like I don't have to ask the same thing about, Puka Nakua, Devonte Adams. The big question with Devonte Adams is if he finds the end zone, right? That's going to be the one that we're looking at. But Puka Nakua is automatic. He's the guy that I was doing a few more late drafts, and he was the 101 every single time, and it was no question. It was him. It was JSN, and then honestly, it was a lot of Josh Allen in the first round, and that's even with four players. I did the single chop, and then I did a couple of double chops, but it's just him. And the Rams are arguably one of the best teams still left in these playoffs, and the Bears kind of know that they're not. And we've got Bears fans at Fantasy Life, and they're like, "Hey, we're playing with house money." The Bears have a strong running game. We've seen Williams step up in big moments, but yeah, it feels like this will be one for the Rams to take away. You going with the Rams?
Yeah, I am. I do, you do get worried seeing how Chicago played, but look, on paper, the Rams are the better team. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
Rams don't allow a lot of sacks. The Bears have had 1 or 0 sacks 5 of the last 9 games. They look Love. We forget because they won the game. Jordan Love carved them up,
Yeah,
especially in
great
the
game.
first half.
Yes.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
again, give them credit because they made some adjustments. Green Bay also had a lot of injuries, but yeah, it's going to be tough. The Bears, if they're going to win it, I think they have to win a shootout. I think they have to outscore the Rams because I don't really see them slowing down this Rams offense again, unless they force multiple turnovers. But they have not been able to pressure the quarterback. And if you're going to give Stafford time to throw, he is going to find Adams. He's going to find Puka. He's going to find the tight ends. So I do think this will be a fun game for sure. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping
Oh
that
yeah.
the cold weather is not that bad to the point that there's drops and it slows down
Yeah.
the
If it's
offense
supposed to be
because
freezing, that
yeah,
definitely.
but we've
Yeah.
seen players perform in cold weather. It's really the wind that's a big factor, but this still is the highest total of the 4 games at 48.5, and I think it's because it's difficult to see the Rams offense being slowed down. And whenever the Bears do decide to come to play offensively, whether it's the third quarter or the fourth, we see how it can pile up quickly. But yeah, this is going to be a challenge here for the Bears. I mean, they are 3.5 point home underdogs, but they do have
Yeah.
that magic. They keep coming back, and yeah, we'll
Can't
all
count
be
them out.
sitting there if they are trailing and wondering, okay, can they do it again?
Yeah, I can't wait for your tweet to tell us what the odds are. But yeah, and one of the matchups I'm watching too is just what Caleb Williams looks like. If he ends his day with 60 plus rushing yards, he runs one in himself. I think that makes all the difference with his legs as well. So their edge rusher verse on the other side for the Rams, like keeping him contained, keeping him in the pocket, and making sure he doesn't get out there. That's going to be one of the bigger matchups that I think will have a huge impact on this game. He had 7.5 sacks, 49 pressures this season. So again, Caleb Williams can be dangerous when he gets out there and when he's using his legs. I think that does make him an X factor. So it's just really seeing what the Rams do to not only put pressure on him but to also contain him. That's what I'm excited to watch as well. I'm going with the Rams though, and let's see what happens here. Because as a Seahawks fan, if the Seahawks do win, I wouldn't mind seeing the Bears. That would be fun.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be
look at that.
incredible?
That's
What?
bulletin board material. Clip that. So if it is Seattle,
I'm very
Chicago, we can say,
scared.
oh, remember when you wanted Chicago? And then Chicago wins,
Mm.
and you'd be like, yeah, that's what you wished for.
Yeah, that's true. Clip
Yeah.
that, because then I'll cry about it later. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue on. We're continuing breaking down these games, continuing to go through some of the news that we've seen and some of the other head coaching positions open since Harbaugh has been hired by the Giants. We're gonna break it down here. Coming up next. This is Fantasy Life right here, breaking down everything you need to know for the divisional round of the playoffs. We're giving our picks. We're giving our predictions. We're crafting at any time touchdown parlay. Adam's not being as fun with it, but that's fine.
Well, you want Christian Kirk. Like, do we want to win this, or do we want to give money away to charity?
Fine. All right, fine. Who do you want? Well, Josh Allen. Let's do Josh. You want Josh anytime?
I can't argue with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's always one. So we've got one. I do want. Well, okay. Who? Brandon Cooks?
No.
Come on. You have to make it kind of fun. We got to sweat it out a little bit.
Oh, so we need someone at like plus 200 or more is what you're saying?
Minimum. I think just one. Kind of joking around. Don't do that unless you want to have fun with it. I'll do it for this. But I mean, when we're creating like the divisional round slate, if you go over on Underdog, if you're playing, DFS, and you go through picks and strategy, Adam, we always talk about it. And Peter Overzet has a great article, Jonathan Fuller too, at fantasylife.com that you guys should go and check out. But you do have to tell a story, and you have to get, make yours a little bit different in order to win those bigger contests. Guillotines, everything else we talked about is a little bit different than that. But for our projections for the quarterbacks, I should say, Josh Allen's number one, our Xfinity projection, 20.2 fantasy points. Matthew Stafford comes in second, 19.3. And then it's Drake May, or number two, and then Drake May third at 17.7 for if we're looking at quarterbacks. You know who's fourth, though? Caleb Williams, 16.7 projected fantasy points in that game.
I could see putting Caleb Williams over Drake May.
Ooh, okay.
Just look at the matchup. I mean,
yeah.
The Texans, and especially if you expect the Bears-Rams to be higher scoring. Look, the one thing we've seen with the Rams, their defense has not been good. That's the biggest problem. Like, if you have confidence in the Rams making a deep run or getting to the Super Bowl, and you were doing these guillotines this week, and you said, hey, they're going to get there and play 3 games, the biggest concern you have is that defense, because they gave up a lot to Carolina last week. So I could see the Bears, like we said, it's taken quarters, taken more than a half, but when this Bears offense gets cooking, they really click. So I could see Caleb Williams putting up good numbers this week. I guess the dark horse would be, Brock Purdy?
I was going to say Stroud, to be honest with you.
I don't trust Stroud after what I saw last week.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go there, but yeah, I guess.
And no Nico Collins.
I don't think I want to go Brock Purdy. You think?
No, I'm saying if you're gonna go away from the chalk, like Allen is obvious, and Stafford, they're obvious.
Would it not be maybe Sam Darnold or Bo Nix at that point?
You could say Bo Nix because of his legs too. Like I said, we did see those. The last 2 games to close the season, I think Knicks had over 40 rushing yards in both. And against the Bills, they do struggle against the scrambling quarterback. So, yeah, he could get there on his legs, especially if he can get a rushing touchdown and maybe pass for 1 or 2. You could see that.
What about for the running backs here? So again, I'm going through our projections at fantasylife.com. The top two are chalk, right? Christian McCaffrey, 19.5 projected fantasy points. James Cook coming in at, it's actually kind of a bigger drop off than I expected, 15.1. Then we have RJ Harvey, 13. Kyron Williams, 12.8. DeAndre Swift at 11. Going away from the top 2, who are some other running backs? We've talked about RJ Harvey today already and how it feels like that would be the recipe for success for the Denver Broncos because you can run on the Bills. And we've seen it before for whatever reason last week when Jacksonville decided to go away from that. We do not know why, but that seems like one where RJ Harvey could thrive. I didn't say Swift or Ramondre Stevenson. Those 2 are in play as well.
I think Walker and Charbonnet too. I mean, we saw what they did in this matchup. Have to be
cheap, right?
What?
I said those guys have to be kind of cheaper in these formats. I don't see a price on them yet, but I'm gonna look.
Yeah, I would say Charbonnet.
We think they're projected for more fantasy points than Walker this weekend.
Charbonnet is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we saw it already. They're gonna be a heavy emphasis to run the football. Each of them rushed for over 70 yards in their first matchup.
They looked good too. It was like the first time we've seen that all come together. That team becomes dangerous because the run game has been the one thing that's held Seattle back or just not helped them succeed as much, right? It's been special teams has been great. We've talked about Rashid Shaheed, their defense. We don't even need to go through it. Offensively, they've got great connection between Sam Darnold and JSN, but it's been the run game that's really not been there all season.
The Eagles rushed for 140 yards last week, and Walker and Charbonnet both had good games. Charbonnet has at least 17 rushing attempts in each of the last two, so they're going to rely on the run. So yeah, I would look at both. Probably lean Charbonnet more, especially since they trust him more in the red zone. Better chance to score a touchdown.
I was going to say Zach Charbonnet, anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I think the odds are like minus 105 though, if I'm not mistaken.
Fine, that's fine. We're gonna find our crazy one here a little bit later. So we've got Josh Allen, we've got Zach Charbonnet. We're gonna go to the water cooler though. News and notes you need to know before we continue these breakdowns and previews. We're going there next. This is Fantasy Life right here. This is the Fantasy Life water cooler. We are breaking down all the news and notes that you need to know heading into this next hour. Get you up to date and ready for the divisional round. 2 games tomorrow, 2 games on Sunday, and it's going to be another great weekend of football. We have to savor it while we can, Adam. There's going to be a time here coming up, and I don't want to talk about it or bring it up, but there's going to be a time here in less than a month where we don't get to talk about, games and previews and all that. It's going to be sad.
Yeah, 4 games this weekend, 2 next weekend. Then we get the fantastic Pro Bowl that we all look forward to, and then the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the Pro Bowl, it's with the Super Bowl now, right? Like they do it the week before the Super Bowl, but is it in San Francisco?
Yeah, they do. I don't even know. I don't know even. It's on a Tuesday. What is it? The Pro Bowl games or something? I don't know.
Okay.
Who cares, right? No one pays attention.
When's the last time you watched a Pro Bowl?
Oh, I can't even remember.
I can't either.
For real.
I can't either. Yeah, and then they do the games beforehand, right? Like longest drive. They've got the golf stuff going on. They've got a lot. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I've watched it either. But we're gonna be sad. We're gonna be wishing we were watching. Like Steelers and the Browns again. We're gonna be like, it's gonna be mid-April, and we're gonna say, missed
and
that.
then when we do get that Steelers Browns game in October, we're gonna be like, this is trash. But that's just human nature, right? Like you always miss it when it's gone. But yeah, we are getting to the end, and we figured this was gonna be a wide open playoffs that would be really exciting, and that first weekend was great. Yes, it ended with a little bit of a whimper with those 2 games that weren't the best, but first 4 were amazing. And let's hope we we want all 4 games to be great come down to the wire. I know you don't want with Seattle.
I don't.
You want
I'd be okay with one
comfort.
not, just a total blowout fashion. Not worried about it. At halftime, you're kind of just like walking around the house, maybe looking at other things. Yeah, no.
No, when you're a fan, there is nothing better than a blowout win in the postseason because it is extremely stressful, and you're living and dying with every single call. A flag is thrown, and you're like, no, please don't let it be 15 yards on my team. So if you can win a postseason game in blowout fashion, it's just a lot easier on the stress levels. But as a fan that has no one in this postseason, give me 4 games coming down to the wire.
You have someone in the postseason, the Seahawks, your Seahawks.
I am rooting for the Seahawks to win, but I am not a diehard fan where it's going to crush me if they lose.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
I'll make your Monday you'll wish they won because I'll just be so sad. You'll be like,
so like of the 8 playoff teams left, the one that I clearly do not want to win and don't like the most is the 49ers. So there you go.
There you go. It's a win for me. Yeah, it's no matter what, we just want good games this weekend, and it's another weekend of close games besides the Seahawks game, which is still I think sitting at 7 in favor of the Hawks.
We saw how that worked last week. What was the biggest line last weekend? The Rams. What happened in that game? Carolina was up with 2 minutes left. So
that's why. Hey, to be fair, at the beginning of the show, I said I do not like that. If I was betting, I wouldn't mind if people were saying that they were going in on the 49ers. I would understand.
I wish we had a recording of our break, and Ani could confirm this because you said that line should you put a 1 in front of the 7, and that should be the spread.
1.
Yeah,
Are you crazy? Now you're just lying.
I heard it.
See, Ani, thank you. You think it should be 17
right now? They know me. They know who I am. I'm nervous about 7. Why would I say 17? That's insane. You're just stirring the pot now. You're annoying.
Yeah, I'm stirring the pot. Get ready for that lasagna. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help make the lasagna.
I'm telling you, the lasagna's good. I'll send a pic. Oh my gosh, it's delicious.
All right, so
okay.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your cooking?
Oh, my cooking in general? I would get, I'm gonna be probably like 7.5, 8.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave some room. There's a lot more. I don't bake. I'm not necessarily a great baker. I just shout out to anyone that can do that, because all the measurements and stuff. No, I just like to go and do whatever I can when I'm cooking. But baking, you have to be so exact, and that's where I mess up. I'm not patient.
You know where I am on that scale of 1 to 10?
0, -10,
yes.
-12. I like. What's the last thing you cooked ever? Really?
I mean, I made guacamole. Does that count?
Okay, wait.
I can do that. I can actually make guacamole. You can
make some good guac. Oh, okay, yeah. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Like of all the things, right? I don't know how that happened.
That's kind of random. All right, I like that. So you can cook something. There you go. I'd still put your skills, -10.
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
A 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 0. All right. Well, I'll send a picture of the lasagna for sure.
You do
lucky
that, yeah.
lasagna needs to strike again. We're going to be breaking down that game here next, but I did want to get through a couple of pieces of news and everything that we've talked about in the first hour to just break it down. You're going to see a questionable tag next to Sam Darnold's name because he's got an oblique injury. He said he is going to play this weekend, that it should not be a problem there. Fred Warner is not going to return for this game against the Seahawks. If they do win this game, they are hopeful that maybe he could come back that next week. But again, that would be huge for them. As a Seahawks fan, I'm glad he's not back, but we're gonna have to wait another week for him. Ricky Pearsall is questionable in that game, so we're gonna learn closer to game time what that means for this team and Ricky Pearsall. Nico Collins was not out there yesterday, and so it is safe to assume that if you have Nico Collins in guillotine leagues, to go ahead and drop him. I hope you did that already and bid on other players, but if you didn't, and if you weren't chopped with him on your team for the first week, yeah, go and get someone else. I don't think Jaden Higgins is a bad option to pick up, or Kirk, like you said. I would assume, though, Adam, that if you're in those guillotines, that Kirk was picked up already, but I don't think Jaden Higgins is a bad option if you do have Nico and you need to swap him out for someone.
Yeah, I didn't notice Nico getting dropped. I know when I was looking on the waiver wire in my leagues, I didn't see him. So yeah, I'm assuming... if you had him, maybe you said, all right, I'll wait till the end of the week. Again, we talked about that earlier in the week. The risk with that, though, is that the players available on waivers just are less desirable.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the way I would have done it, because if I had Nico, and I looked and I thought I would have had him somewhere, and I didn't. I would have dropped him, because the idea was that it was going to be really hard no matter what for him to get through that concussion protocol. And so we've kind of seen that now, but if you do have him, you need to look at dropping him today. Our next waiver run is tomorrow at
11 a.m. Eastern.
11 a.m.
So you're
Eastern.
you're awake early anyway.
Yeah, right? I'll be good. Well, put your bids in tonight. Don't mess around with it. Just put your bids in tonight, and then they'll go through. But we've got a waiver run tomorrow at 11, and the same time on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern as well. So make sure to get those in. But again, Nico Collins was not practicing yesterday, so a little bit tough for him. Matthew Stafford said his injured finger feels great, because he's not going to tell us anything else, Adam. We worry a little bit, if we're talking about the cold and the weather, that maybe that affects that finger. That's his throwing hand, I believe. Yes, index on his throwing hand. So that's the one thing to watch for there. A little bit other news, though, just around the NFL. Patrick Mahomes was talking to, I believe it was just the media as a whole yesterday, said he wants to be ready for week 1. He said he intends to be ready for week 1 for the 2026 season. He had surgery mid-December to repair. It was 2 torn ligaments in his left knee. And he said on this Zoom call with the media on Thursday that his rehab is hitting all the checkpoints. It is very early in this process, Adam, but at least good news to see Patrick Mahomes going through the rehab again. It tore his ACL and LCL on the 14th of December, so it was a little bit late. I can't imagine, unless it really does go well, it's going to be tough in those early drafts to take him if we're drafting in May or June and we don't have updates on him yet.
Yeah, I think at that point you probably don't want to do it unless he falls really far and he's like your second quarterback, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see him come back. We know that he's going to put in all the work, and we've seen players come back from ACLs on occasion a little bit earlier than anticipated. So if there's anyone that could do it, it would be Mahomes. But yeah, right now, for those that are going to be drafting in a couple weeks, because we know some of you are, yeah, I would not put him in the top 12.
I want to see the drafts that people do the day. What day is the Super Bowl? February 8th. I want to see a draft February 9th.
Oh,
And
there
I
will
want to
be
see
some.
those 80. Oh, I know.
Won't
Maybe
be
it'll
me.
be us.
Won't be me. I'm not that crazy.
Okay, well, maybe it'll be me on Underdog. Those are fun. And then you look back and you say, what the heck was I thinking? Because
Yeah,
there's
right.
so much that's going to change. I mean, free agency, for one, is going to change. The NFL draft is going to change it. But yeah, at least good news over there with Patrick Mahomes. Like we've said before, he's tough, and we know that. So we'll see if he is going to be in line to play in week one. The other part of the Chiefs that's kind of interesting, at least right now, and we're going to get this word sooner rather than later, but their OC, Nagy, is going out for some interviews for head coaching gigs. I don't know if he's going to end up getting one, but if he does, we will be talking about the Chiefs with a new OC potentially in 2026. He's had this role since 2023. Obviously, we know this past season was just really bad. And so Mahomes also commented on that. Then he said that if Nagy does get another chance to be a head coach, he's done a lot of great things to help him. But some of the traits that he'd like to see in a new offensive coordinator are, just getting a little bit better for 2026. Because again, last season was so disappointing, especially in fantasy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was a period where he was playing well, and then it kind of fell apart. Remember, they really didn't have a running game at all this year, too. I mean, that is something that they need to fix because, yeah, they relied on Kareem Hunt, but you weren't getting any explosive plays from him. So they definitely need to improve the running game. We did see Xavier Worthy having that surgery on that shoulder, which Travis Kelce took him out in week one.
Ugh,
so I'm sure. I mean, it's easy to say, well, that's why he played poorly this year, but it's also no excuse, right? You were on the field, you got to play, but getting hurt in week one certainly didn't help his progression.
Yeah, no, they're going to need to do something back there with the running backs. Maybe it's ETN. Maybe ETN's on the move. There are better Breece Hall. There are better running backs in free agency.
Or maybe they draft someone.
Or maybe they draft someone. Yeah, I think there are a couple solid rookie running backs coming into this season. Again, we know that it's not there for the quarterbacks, but there are some actual good names out there. Javonte Williams, like we've said before, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker too could potentially be out there. I don't know what the Hawks are going to do there. J.K. Dobbins, ETN, like we said. So there are some options. Maybe they go to the draft. ETN said the other day, though, his quote was, "It would be crazy if I played my last game with Jacksonville," but it almost feels like maybe that's the way that they're going to go. Yeah.
Well, look, if you're ETN, you probably want to go back, right? They're on the upswing right now. We know what Liam Cohen has done for offenses. We saw him, ETN, turn it around and go back to what we saw a couple years ago. So, yeah, if I was him, I probably would not want to leave too. But at the same time, I would want to get paid. These guys got to get paid. I never blame any player for taking the money.
I could see the Titans go after him. I could see the Jets if they do move on from Breece Hall. I don't know what's going to happen with the Jets. Tennessee too. Well, I shouldn't say that because Tony Pollard at the end of the year was just someone that you could start in your flex, which was so random. I don't know where that came from, Adam, but we did end up talking about Tony Pollard at the end of the year, maybe 3 games.
Yeah, teams in the consolation bracket had a hell of a run and won those consolation championships with Tony Pollard.
I'm telling you, it was random and it was weird. And you were like, where was this all season? I drafted, I think, a lot more Tajay Spears than Tony Pollard last year.
I probably had more Pollard, I guess, in best ball. I actually did have Spears in a couple redraft leagues. Like, I had Pollard ranked higher, obviously. And I think Spears was injured to begin the year. So we knew Pollard was in probably for a good start, and it just didn't happen. I think he had one good game. 2 decent games. But, yeah, he went through a stretch in the regular season, Pollard, where it was just like, yeah, he can't play. But he was getting 10, 11 carries doing nothing. And then all of a sudden to finish the year, 161, 104, 102, 85. So, yeah, it just kind of popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, why not? He said, 28 fantasy points against Cleveland? Sure. 18.2 against San Francisco? Here you go. Why? Where was this all year? So, again, good, interesting free agents that we'll start breaking down once we get closer, to the Super Bowl. We've got the 2-week period before those games end and the Super Bowl begins. Last one that I just wanted to hit here because there are some trade talks with AJ Brown, or I should say rumors, Adam. Howie Roseman, though, of course, came in and downplayed the trade talks, says that AJ Brown is a great player, of course, because he's not going to say anything else. But I do lean on the side that maybe if the money's right, that's the one thing that you have to remember with Howie Roseman and how everyone says, like, can't let the Eagles continue to do this. If the money's not right, they're not going to probably let him go. Or it probably has to be, they would probably need a first round pick coming back to them with the money that I've seen that they would have a cap hit of. But he said he's a great player, and so we'll see if AJ Brown's on the move. But he did not end the season on a very high note, yelling at Sirianni and just having kind of it was a tough year. I mean, it was actually a good year for him in fantasy. It wasn't awful, but when we talk about personal things and on-field stuff, it wasn't great.
Yeah, look, and AJ Brown talks a lot, and he had a couple of bad drops against the 49ers. It's just not a good look for him. Again, if you are going to demand the football when it does come your way in a big playoff game, you got to make the plays. So, look, we knew that there were issues with this team all season long. I mean, everyone blames Patullo, and he deserves a lot of it. They also had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. The offensive line was not as good as it was last year. You could just see, like, it just felt – when you watched that team, you felt like something wasn't right. And, we'll hear a lot of talk about A.J. Brown. Money is a factor, but we'll see if they can make it work. Because, like you said, they're having a press conference. What is he going to say? Yeah, we're getting rid of A.J. Brown. We're going to trade him. Like, no.
This team was never going to be ready to defend a title. It just wasn't in the cards for them this year. And you saw it. You had the Eagles fans booing by week 3. They were pissed, which I kind of love for them, but it's hilarious when you're coming off a Super Bowl win. But they underperformed in every single metric. So of course you've got Patullo out as their offensive coordinator, not fired though, Adam, just to be very clear, he was not fired. He's still going to be on the staff, but just in another position. So we'll see who they bring in. But again, it's another offensive coordinator for Jalen Hurts and this offense, which no matter which way you look at it, it does affect them and that team. And so Hurts finished the season with his lowest ever yards per attempt. You look at AJ Brown, he had his fewest receiving yards in a season since 2021. And even if you want to include Devontae Smith, like he got to the 1,000 yards, but remember, he had to play in week 18 to get there. I mean, it was kind of a meaningless game that they just threw him out there so he could get the 1,000 yards. So if you're looking at those numbers, don't think like, wow, he did amazing that year. It wasn't great. And then Saquon Barkley, his production completely fell. So this team had a bad year. We know that they have the pieces to contend. It just wasn't going to happen this season. They were never really ready to defend what they were able to do last season. And so again, AJ Brown, maybe he's on the move, but that's going to be a big topic of conversation going into the offseason for 2026 here as well. We're going to continue looking through some of the pieces of news. If we get any injury updates, we're going to update you here, but it is time to break down 49ers and the Seahawks. So what do the 49ers need to do if they want to go into Lumen Field, if they want to upset the Hawks? How are they going to do it? We're going to break it down here coming up next. Oh, the duo you have been waiting for. We are here. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, breaking down everything you need to know for the divisional round. And we are here breaking down the Seahawks and the 49ers. Everyone knows who I'm rooting for in this game, and you don't have to ask who I'm going to pick in this game as well. It's going to be beautiful in Seattle, by the way, this weekend. 50 degrees on Saturday, sunny, no clouds in the sky. Well, maybe some clouds. I don't know. I'm not there, but it's going to be a beautiful day. We don't have to worry about weather over there. There's nothing, I'm telling you, Adam, there's nothing better than a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. You need to get up there. It is so nice.
I will have to get there at some point.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
I have not been that far across the country. Never been to Cali yet, man.
Yeah, see, you got to do that.
I don't know what's going on.
Burritos. We'll go to the beach. You could play softball year round.
I know that is the biggest selling point.
Mm-hmm. It's 80 degrees today.
Yeah, well, it feels like 18 here, so it's just a little bit of a disparity between.
Little cold. I couldn't imagine 18. I would be complaining. I actually wouldn't leave the house. Are you going on?
You don't leave the house now.
No, I do when it's beautiful like this. I'm going on a walk right after this.
Oh, I'm
Got my
still going to go on
coffee.
a walk.
Got a little trail. Oh, yeah.
It just might not be
I'd
as
complain the
long
whole
as
way.
usual.
Yeah, I'd complain the whole way. You don't have to complain about the Seattle weather this weekend, though. This is again the biggest spread of the weekend. Seahawks are favorites in this one. Is it still at 7 or is it coming back a little
7.
bit to the 40? All right, 7. Line sitting at 7. And so we've seen these teams together a lot, but most recently it was week 18, and we kind of know how it ended. I mean, the 49ers weren't able to get anything done. While we're talking about total yardage, Sam Darnold looked, good in that game as well. The Seahawks run game looked good as well. So let me say this. If the 49ers, same question like we asked for the Bears, if the 49ers were to upset the Seahawks, how do they have to do it in this game?
Easy. Make Sam Darnold crumble in the big moment, right?
Yep.
Just get pressure on him. Force him into mistakes. Last game that they played, Seattle had a favorable game script. They were able to run the ball very well, and Darnold didn't need to do much. But just get pressure on Darnold and force him into mistake. We've seen it in the big spots before, but that's really going to be the key for San Francisco. And I mean, they clearly have to do a better job offensively because, boy, were they were completely dominated in that game. The 49ers had 173 yards. That was the fewest in a regular season game in the Shanahan era. So they had no answers. McCaffrey was shut down. So they obviously have to make some adjustments on offense. We know they're dealing with a lot of injuries, but yeah, it would be really beneficial for them if they could get the lead, right? That's when the pressure starts to mount a little bit on Seattle. And I mean, if they could ever get up 2 scores, that's kind of asking a lot, but if they can get a lead and put the pressure on Darnold, make him drop back to pass, because he made some bad passes in that game that could have led to mistakes, but they didn't ask him to do much because they were having such success on the ground and the game script was so favorable that Darnold really was never in a big pressure spot. So
no,
that's the key, right? Because I think even you as a Seahawks fan or anyone who believes in the Seahawks, if you ask them, okay, so what's the biggest hurdle? It's like, well, what happens if the game is on the shoulders of Sam Darnold? How do you feel about that? Will he respond? And I think that's the biggest question mark because, again, in that game, he had 198 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 2 times. He did have a fumble, did not lose it. But, yeah, you want to create some pressure on Darnold so he is forced into mistakes.
The Seahawks are built to capitalize on the 49ers' weaknesses, which exist a lot of the time, most of the time when we look at that team because of the injuries that they have. And that's unfortunate. I think it's a win in and of itself that the 49ers have made it this far. And I think it's just a big testament to what they've been able to do with how little they've had all season long. So the reality is you need to get to Darnold. That's like you said it, the one thing that you can walk down the street. If you see a Seahawks fan, if you see a Seahawks jersey today, you can ask that person, you say, what are you most nervous about? And it's going to be Sam Darnold. I think he's gotten over the hurdle. I'm trying to be positive. I think he got over that mental hurdle when they faced the Rams on that Thursday night game. I think he needed that game. And I've said that time and time again, when he had the 2 interceptions, was able to come back. But if the Seahawks do mount a good lead, it does take pressure off him and it makes him less likely to make as big of mistakes as we've seen in the past. So for me, I think they need to speed him up too. The 49ers don't have a great defense. We've seen that. They don't get pressure on the quarterback. But if there is one key that maybe Robert Saleh can expand on or try and do a little bit more, I know they don't have much, but it is speed up Darnold, pick up on blitzes. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to test his decision making, especially on those late downs, because that's when he makes mistakes. And so if they're able to do that and get to him a little bit more, that could make a huge difference. Kenneth Walker averaged 7.5 yards per carry on the outside concepts week 18. And I just think that him and Zach Charbonnet added 7.4 yards per carry. So they looked good in that game. If they're able to get that, that makes them one of the most complete teams, if not the most complete team in the playoffs still.
Yeah, that was like the perfect recipe for Seattle in that game. It just all came together. And, now it's the 3rd time you've played them this year. But yeah, the 49ers don't come in a good spot. They're last in sacks, tied for 29th in interceptions.
A short week. They didn't
second
get any
worst
help
in
with the
pressure
schedule.
rate. Like it's just all the things you need to disrupt Darnold, they just don't have. And then, of course, Seattle likes to rely on that ground game, and San Francisco just cannot stop the run. They just have way too many injuries on the defensive side of the football. It is amazing that they have gotten here and that they've had the year that they've had to put up this many wins. So you got to give a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff. And again, I think last week's win was just Philadelphia imploding and beating themselves. I mean, Philadelphia clearly had the more talented team, but San Francisco was able to take them out despite losing George Kittle early in the game. So, look, the 49ers know that Seattle's going to come out and run the football. So we'll see what they can do because they know that's exactly what they're going to do. It's going to be a lot of Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet early. So if they can somehow stop them and keep the game close or maybe take the lead and put the ball in the hands of Darnold, that's really what's going to be the key for San Francisco. And, just try and generate a little pressure and force Darnold into a mistake because Darnold does have the most turnovers in the NFL this year.
And, I guess the one aspect I haven't mentioned yet, and we didn't mention it about the Broncos, but maybe there's a rust factor here. These teams haven't played for 2 weeks. And so if there was a couple teams that maybe could see themselves get into a hole early, maybe it is the Broncos and the Seahawks. Again, feels unlikely because, again, they've had rest. They're at home. But again, these two teams haven't played since week 18. They had the first round bye. So that's the other part of San Francisco that maybe they could take advantage of that. Sam Darnold's coming in a little bit banged up. As much as we want to say that he's going to be good to go, he said he's good to go. Any kind of injury that puts a questionable tag on you, face that weakness. I think for the 49ers too, we know Christian McCaffrey and the Seahawks defense, that's going to be tough on the ground. So it just feels like the recipe for success also, Adam, on the other side with the 49ers is going to be through the air with Brock Purdy. Are there any players that you're looking at either for Guillotini's DFS lineups? Like, is it going to be Tonjes stepping up for for George Kittle, who's not going to be out there? Do you think it's just going to be all CMC? What are your expectations there?
Yeah, look, CMC obviously is going to cost a lot, and we've seen him get shut down too, though, by this defense. Tonjes will probably be the guy. You're looking for a cheap tight end, and again, if there's any way to beat Seattle, it is through the tight ends. They're really a top defense. I don't think you can count on Robinson giving you a big game again, where he just broke so many tackles, especially on his first big play. I think Jennings has a tough matchup, and we don't know yet if Pearsall is going to play. And even if he does, you're still worried about that injury. And if he's fighting through it, he's not close to 100%. So, yeah, again, this is a tough spot here for San Francisco against this defense.
I think you said it earlier in the show, but if you missed it, don't be afraid to go for the Seahawks running backs, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. I think those two are going to be X factors in this game that if they're really able to go, it could be also another question of if the Seahawks lean on the ground game again or if they trust Darnold. And I think both can be true at the same time. We trust you.
They're leaning on the ground game.
We trust
they're
you.
They're leaning on the ground game. Come on.
Over to Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. I think that's because you look at, Philadelphia just ran for 140 yards wildcard weekend. And we talked about Saquon Barkley having a down game all season, down year really. And then they gave up the season high 180 in week 18. So the thing that you can look at is the San Francisco defense has a ton of holes. And again, when you look at what they allowed Philadelphia, 140 in that game, don't be afraid because of what we talked about all season in fantasy with them. It's quite different now going into this game for the playoffs, going up against the 49ers with both of them.
Yeah, look, everything shapes up for Seattle to win this game. Doesn't mean they will, because again, San Francisco has found a way to get through and make big plays in the big moment. And again, you do worry about Darnold turning it over. I think if this game is tied or close, that's when you feel good about San Francisco because I think that a Darnold mistake is around the corner. But to be fair, Purdy has turned it over too in these games against Seattle. I think he has 3 turnovers in the 2 games against Seattle. So, and we know how good Seattle's defense is. So, again, teams know each other. It's a divisional game. These divisional games, crazy things happen. And I think that's what you're worried about if you're a Seahawks fan. You can look at all the things on paper and all the injuries the 49ers have, but you always go, well, it's a divisional opponent. They know each other very well. Here's the thing, though. If a lot of people will say, well, Shanahan's going to make adjustments. Wouldn't he have done that in the biggest game? That was a huge game. That was for the 1 seed and a bye. He didn't do anything that week. I mean, they had no answers. They put up 3 points. So a couple weeks later, it's going to change. That's the hard part that I have trying to say to back San Francisco here. As good as Shanahan is, what can he do differently with all the injuries they have in the Seattle defense? So they'll probably put up more than 3, I would think.
Yeah, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm okay if they don't. I'm okay if it's 0, to be totally honest with you.
But yeah, if you are backing the 49ers here, you want to see them get out to a lead because that's when the pressure will build on Seattle. They're the favorite. They're home. They're expected to win. And then again, you want to do what you can to have Darnold drop back 35 times. He only dropped back 26 times in that game 2 weeks ago. And there really was never a point in that game where, I mean, it was 10-3 at the half, so it was a close game. But watching that game, like Seattle was in control. Totally that score was so misleading. Like
it was, but they didn't need to do. You said it. They didn't need to do much. I think they felt in control of that game too, where they knew that. But
is that a little concerning though? That like you dominated the game and it was only a 10-point. Yeah.
Yes.
They had the ball for almost 38 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, and they outgained them 361 to 173. And with all that said, they still only won 13-3, and there was only 10-3 at the half. But that's where like the box score, the final score could be misleading. If you watch that game, like you're like, wow, Seattle dominated it. Because like someone came at me and said, what are you talking about? I'm like, Seattle dominated that game.
They did. Yeah, there's no question. They totally dominated. And so I think we know all the recipes for success on both sides. It's getting to Sam Darnold, and I think it's putting a lot more, if they can, pressure on him, even though that's not what the 49ers defense has been able to do this season. And on the other side, it's really almost like let's do what we just did 2 weeks ago. Let's get the ground game going. Let's take pressure off Sam Darnold, and let's have this defense carry us to a potential championship. So that's what I'm watching for here. I'll be making lasagna. If anyone else is, send me a picture, because I have gotten some pictures this week, and it's been really fun. I'm taking the Seahawks, Adam. What about you?
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks.
I thought you were going to say something else, and I was going to be so mad at you.
I don't know. I'm starting to think the 49ers might win this game.
What are you talking? Are you serious?
Yeah.
No. Are you?
No, I'm taking Seattle.
Okay, thank goodness. You're gonna make me. I'm sick to my stomach already. Don't do this to me. We're talking Patriots Texans. Get out of here. Just get out of here. Last game.
All right, see ya. I'm out.
Whatever. Ani, come on. We can.
What if I X'd out? What would you do?
I would be mad at you, and I'd call you, and I would have you on the phone, and I'd put you up to this microphone right here, and I'd say, "Okay, get talking."
Like I was just listening to you. You said go.
Oh my gosh. Patriots, Texans. We're breaking that game down, giving our predictions here. Coming up next. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have Xfinity. All the games all in one place. And here's what you get when you watch sports with Xfinity. You get that sports zone, every pro football game and over 1,000 college games, highlights, alerts, all in one place. The multi-view lets you be in up to 4 stadiums at once. The Xfinity Fan View gives you live scores, odds, and stats all in one place and personalized to you. You also get enhanced 4K and that voice remote where you can just say football. Imagine all your football all in one place. Easy. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. You need to put that on like the internet somewhere.
I know.
I would stream that.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Once I finish writing the whole song, it's going to be fire. I mean, it's not 22 degrees. Feels like 18, but we got the right mood. It is Friday. It is Friday. It's
Vibes
cold.
are good.
Not for you.
Oh, it's not cold over here.
Yeah, I know.
California, stand up. 80 degrees today. Concerning on other levels, but
yeah, we're dreaming of 80-degree days. I think we have about 4 months before that happens here.
Yeah, it's tough. We could come out here. Ani's coming for opening day. San Diego. Oh, San Diego.
Yeah, I've heard good things about San Diego.
If you go to San Diego, you probably wouldn't leave, to be totally honest with you. You'd be like, well, actually, you're kind of... No, never mind. They might be too nice over there for you.
Too nice?
Yeah.
As far as what? Nice. The weather?
Far as no, like good, like they'd be too nice to you. They'd say have a good day, and you're used to New York, where you're like, man.
New York is not as bad as people
I was talking
make
about
it
you.
To see.
No, you.
Me.
New York, I know isn't. Yeah, you're like, man.
I'm bad. I say hi to most people.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Okay.
I like chatting up with people.
I like it. Yeah, you gotta come down here. First and foremost, is there any weather concerns for the Patriots in New England? I haven't actually looked at that one.
I don't think so.
Okay, so that's nice. Texans at Patriots over there. Total, the first time I saw it, 40.5. Is it still there? 40.5?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm seeing some, it's likely snow. Wait a second.
How much
snow? No.
Oh.
I don't know. It might be before the game.
Okay.
Or there could be some snow, but
Texans at Patriots here. New England favored by 3, it looks like. And so we've already talked about Nico Collins. He was not practicing yesterday. We're probably going to get word today that he's not going to be good to go because he won't get out of the concussion protocol. Who steps up in your mind then for the Texans? If the Texans were to upset the Patriots, what's their recipe for success?
Would it be an upset? I know they're underdogs, but I don't think it would.
How about a technical upset?
Yeah, I don't think it would be a big upset. I think there are some people who believe that the Texans will win this game. So, Stroud's got to play way better. I mean, that was awful last week. I mean, how often do you turn it over 3 times, not force any, and win? He fumbled 5 times and lost 2. He threw an interception in the red zone. That was the first time he did that since 2023. So, I mean, look, they didn't really get much from Collins last week and did win. Kirk was amazing. So I guess they'll need him, Dalton, Schultz. It's probably going to be a group effort here if they're going to win from the receivers because, again, Nico Collins is a big loss. But this seems like a game where we're not going to get much offense anyway. This looks like it's going to be a defensive struggle, kind of similar to what we saw with the Patriots-Chargers on Sunday night. I kind of expect a similar game.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be low scoring in this one. I'm worried, to be totally honest, about this Patriots team because when we watched them against the Chargers, that also wasn't a great game for them. I mean, Drake may put it together at the end, but those first 2 quarters weren't necessarily his best football that we've seen. And when we look at that game as well, he got hit a little bit, and the Patriots offensive line struggled to block that pass rush from the Chargers. And if they were struggling there, this Texans pass rush is on an entirely different planet. And so if they're going to put pressure on Drake May, I'm really curious to see how he ends up making it work because again, he is in MVP conversations for the 2025 season. Everyone knows that, but this defense, we've talked about it last week. They can keep him in these games. CJ Stroud doesn't, and we saw last week, he didn't need to play hero. He looked awful. So they would rather him not do that, but you put up 20 points. If you're able to put up 20 points with CJ Stroud and the Texans, the defense will carry you the rest of the way. And so that's the scary part about this team. I want to see what they look like getting after Drake May and how he's going to how he's just going to do under that pressure.
Yeah, well, the defense did carry them last week. I mean, look, 7-6, 7-6 early in the fourth quarter. They got 2 defensive touchdowns. Yep. So this is the toughest challenge for Drake May. He hasn't faced the defense top 8 DVOA this year, and now it gets the Texans. So the toughest challenge here, Texans were top 3 in points allowed per game, yards allowed per game, takeaways. So, yeah, this is going to be the challenge for Drake May, especially with 2 rookies on the offensive line going up against Hunter and Rankins and Will Anderson. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Now, they do struggle a little bit against rushing quarterbacks, so May's going to have to use his legs in this one. We have seen Ramondre Stevenson play extremely well lately as well, and you got Travion Henderson in there, so they have some weapons. But, yeah, he's going to have to find a way to not turn it over and get the ball in his hands of the receivers. So, yeah, this is going to be a big challenge for Drake May and the Patriots offense.
Yeah, I think Ramondre Stevenson, I'm glad you called him out because he had his most productive game as a receiver last week against the Chargers. So
all of a sudden, he's been a force as a receiver.
Don't you love when that happens in the playoffs when it doesn't matter for us in fantasy football?
I have Stevenson a couple guillotines and matters for me.
That's right, though. Okay, it does matter. It does matter. I caught 3 passes for 75 yards, and so he could be one of their big X factors in this game if that does end up continuing. Because again, there's not many weaknesses with the Houston Texans defense. And on the other side, who's going to step up? We talked about Nico Collins a little bit. Is it going to be Jaden Higgins to you? Is it Christian Kirk again? Who steps up for them?
The best matchup is Kirk here. So it would have to be him. And they're going to need some more out of Dalton Schultz as well. It's gonna be a collective effort. I don't know if you see one person just really dominate. I think it's gonna be spread around. I don't think you're gonna see like great stats from any player in this offense.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Who are you taking in this game? You gonna go with the Texans?
I'm gonna go with New England. They were my pick before the playoffs, so I'm gonna stick with it. Am I nervous? Absolutely. But I'm gonna stick with New England. You're going the Texans.
I think I'm going to go the Texans in this one just for fun. We got to be a little bit different.
I wouldn't
it doesn't
be
matter. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't either. It doesn't matter for me in our fantasy life playoff draft. I have Nico Collins. So actually, I do want the Texans because then I could get Nico Collins back for another week because he would hopefully clear concussion protocol. No?
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I know I have Schultz in one Guillotini.
Oh,
I don't know if I have anyone else on the Texans.
You have no Texans in this one that weren't together. You went Darnold, Walker, Drake May, Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson. So you're really rooting for the Patriots here.
You're talking about the show draft.
The fantasy life show draft.
Yeah, I need the Patriots to win. I mean, I'm probably done anyway. Well, wait.
No, my team's bad. My team's injured because George Kittle I don't have anymore. Nico Collins I don't have this week. So I'm relying on James Cook, Josh Allen. And I've got 99 points right now. And you have 82.
Yeah, I need the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl.
Catch up to me for sure.
But
Super Bowl would be nice. I'm taking the Texans in this one. We're going to continue on, go through our bets for the day, and just go through who's going to go hard, who's going to go home for us for this divisional weekend. We're going to break that down here. Coming up next. Oh yeah, Adam, get dancing! Woo! Divisional round.
We'll see if you're dancing tomorrow night.
Hey. Whoa, what is with the hostility?
It's not. I just said we'll see if you'll be dancing.
I'll be crying. How's that? You're crying.
No, what's your confidence level on the Seahawks winning?
7.
7, okay. That's not bad.
Hey, no, it's not bad. It's not bad. I do want to see who you think is going to go hard or go home here, presented by Mike's Hard Lemonade. And we've done this segment before, but, Mike's Hard Lemonade, we're trying to, the official drink for those who go hard for their league. We're going to break down who we think could go hard this weekend, who could go home. I'm going to say go hard for the Seahawks as a whole, but go hard or go home, Adam, since you are going to give an unbiased opinion. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, go hard or go home for both those guys.
I'm going to say go hard for both. I mean, they have a great matchup here against San Francisco. We talked about their inability to stop the run lately, and we know that's exactly what Seattle wants to do. They want to run the football. Both players had really good games a couple of weeks ago, and it would be a surprise if it changes. I know that teams make adjustments, and San Francisco's defense is really banged up, though. They just don't have their key players, and Seattle has had success running the football. It's been frustrating from a fantasy perspective, but we have seen Walker and Charbonnet put up good numbers in this matchup. So, yeah, I think both are going to go hard.
I agree. Kenneth Walker, again, week 18, 4 carries of 10 or more yards, finished with 97 rushing yards. We know Clint Kubiak has just been fantastic for this team coming in. So I like Kenneth Walker. I like Zach Charbonnet potentially to find the end zone. Go hard or go home, again, presented by Mike's Hard Lemonade. Oh, you know what? Let me throw you Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, go hard or go home. Could you say, like, go home for the first half, go hard for the second half? What are you going to do?
Yeah, that would ideally be the way that we draw it up based on what we've seen. I mean, it's amazing just how slow they start. This is a tough week for quarterbacks. So I will say go hard, but it's borderline though. Like, I don't know, it feels like what he's been doing, which is 252 touchdowns. So
that's not bad. I mean,
yeah, it's not. I picked him up in one of my guillotines where I lost a quarterback. Who did I lose last week? I can't even remember now. But Jalen Hurts. I was pretty much the last one to take a quarterback in all my drafts, so I just took what was left over. Took Hurts. He got eliminated, so I picked up Caleb Williams.
Didn't talk much about their run game, so I'll throw with the Bears, go hard or go home for DeAndre Swift specifically. We can put Kyle Monangai in there, but what are your expectations for Swift in this game?
I'll say go home. I mean, I think it's more of the passing game here. I mean, with Swift, a lot comes down to will he score a touchdown? He did last week, but only on 13 carries, only 2 catches too for 38 yards. So We haven't seen like a massive game from him in a while. I mean, he did have 2 touchdowns against San Francisco in week 17, but just 9 carries. So he's kind of touchdown dependent at this point.
Who goes hard, who goes home? Let's put these two together. Who has the bigger day? Brandon Cooks or Christian Kirk?
I'm going to say Christian Kirk. I think Cooks has a tough matchup here. I mean, he could see some Surtain. Again, they don't really have anyone to shadow. I wonder if they'll put him on Shakir a little bit, but if Shakir's in the slot, they probably won't. So, yeah, I'm going to say Kirk has the bigger game. I think he has the better matchup. That's why.
All right, I like it. Let's finish things off. Bills, Broncos, who you taking since we're talking about Patrick Surtain right now?
I am going to take the Bills.
Okay. Famous last. Well, I mean, we wouldn't be shocked if we're coming in on Monday, I think, and talking about the Broncos.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
No. I'm also going to take the Bills. 49ers, Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks, shockingly. Who are you going with?
The 49ers. Let's go. Take down Seattle. Let's go.
Are you crazy? Are you actually taking them?
I'm taking Seattle.
Gosh, you're so you just stir the pot. Texans, Patriots. Texans, Patriots. Where are you going to go?
I'm taking the Patriots. I'm a little scared about it. That Texans defense does scare me a bit, but I think this is the biggest challenge for the Patriots this year, but I believe in them, so I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm going to go with the Texans because I believe in their defense. Also, I really need that to stay alive in our fantasy life playoff draft that we did with producer Brendan and Ani. Last one here, Rams, Bears. Who are you going with?
Going to take the Rams. I just think they're the better team, and I think at some point the magic for the Bears wears out, and I think that ends this week.
Yeah, but I will be looking for your tweet at halftime if the Bears are down. What the live odds are on the Bears to make a comeback?
I might just have to sprinkle on it.
I think you should because they do it every time. It just doesn't stop. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Enjoy the divisional round. It is a great weekend of football yet again. Go to fantasylife.com to see all of our rankings and projections. Enjoy. We'll be back same time here Monday.